Aloha and mahalo for joining us. Uh, this is just another episode. Today is very rainy day. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna be able to go out on the ranch and do more work. So I guess it's a good time to do a video, a couple of videos, and share my thoughts and things like that. Hoping that um, some people can find it useful um, and applicable in your lives. So many of you have seen my post about moving to Hawaii and all that good stuff. Um, we were originally planning on doing that. We planned to sell our house in Washington State and then come over here and buy a land here or buy a house and then move here. Uh, but that was not actually our original plan. Um, that was out of um, maneuvering and then trying to deal with my situation and my children's situations, um, and so it was premature for me to say, oh, we're gonna move to Hawaii. But the original plan was to keep our house in Washington State and have one or two of our children moved in and just stay in the house and take care of the house, and we come down here and find a place here, and then go back and forth between Hawaii and the States. We're not getting younger, which is very obvious. So, when you think about, medical facilities and doctors, you know, availability and all sorts of stuff, an island is an island, with limited resources and facilities and all that stuff. So, those were things that we put into considerations when we're talking about moving to Hawaii or selling our house back in Washington State. But one thing I wanted to share with you is flexibility. You have to be very flexible and adjust your plans and go with the flow. For us, we were fortunate enough that two of our kids want to stay in the house, so we say, okay, we're not going to sell the house anymore. Let's keep the house in Washington State and then go get us a piece of property in Paradise. Man, this place is beautiful. And to be honest with you, there's nowhere in Hawaii we can afford beside this Puna district. Even in Hilo, it's pretty expensive. So that's what happened. So we stopped selling our house in Washington State, and I think it was the right decision, because you can't sell in Washington State and buy in Washington State, because houses are so expensive now. Yeah, bought a house for 300 some K back in 2015. Today, same house, same everything, it's at least 750K. So that's out of the question. Selling to buy in Washington State, no, I will not do that. So the next best thing is to come down here and buy a cheaper land here. For example, in Puna District, you can still find 1 acre properties for less than 20K. Well, it's kind of rare now, but at least you can still find a couple. I looked up and I saw one for 18, and maybe in a bad area, maybe full of junk cars and stuff, but still, it's still cheap. So there were two things that came into mind. Number one, we're gonna come here and buy or mortgage another, um, you know, uh, property. And so I look at our financial situation and said, okay, if I do this and then I look all over the place, the only partial that we can afford, because you have to know your budget and your resources. So I look everywhere and, nothing I can afford, or we can afford. And so the best next thing for us is to buy a raw land. Raw lands means there's nothing on the land but trees and grass and vegetation and all that good stuff. And then we can build. Yeah. Well, to build, we ended up with a 1,000 square feet home that we're going to build on our house. It's not cheap. The estimate cost will be around 170 some thousand dollars. And I think that figure was in place for a general contractor. General contractors are those that are, managing the entire phases of your construction. And that's what I came in and took that away. So hopefully we'll be able to save some money when I took over that part of becoming a general contractor myself. And so in doing so, we'll be able to monitor our budget and our cost and kind of work through each of the phases. So instead of just paying or loan or mortgage or do whatever to come up with that initial $176,000, now we're going to be able to break it down. Yeah, for example, we are now just in phase one, and phase one is clearing the property. And so we are out there clearing the part that we think we can clear and farm without, messing up the area that they're gonna build our house on. And so the cost of that is smaller. And that is the reason why we're breaking it down into pieces. So we can afford it, right? Because it's still expensive, but it's more affordable if we break it down, right? So right now, the cost is probably $1,300 a day for, and so that's what we're doing right now. Is probably going to do the clearing, and then we go back to Washington State and try to work and get some money, and then we come back down here and we'll do the foundation. When the foundation is done, we leave it there and go back and try to get more money for the framing. So the foundation, of course, can be there for years, right? So as soon as we finish the foundation, we can leave it. Yeah. The longer you leave a concrete under rain and stuff, so it can slow down its curing process, the better it's gonna be. And so no rushing. Once you finish with the foundation, you can leave it for a couple of years and then come back and put down your framing or frames. So that's what we're going to do. So now we're only in phase one. And so, to think that you can't afford to buy land and build on it, I think is misguided, because you can. And what I found is most of us Micronesians, we have this mindset that we cannot afford lands because we are working minimum wage. No, that is totally wrong. And I'll prove it to you. If you own a Toyota Tundra or F-150, or you can go up. Maybe you own a F-350. Yeah. or a Chevy Suburban, and your payment is no less than $750 a month, then if it's 700, you can basically own two lands, two 1 acre lands here in Puna district, right? So I bought my property a year ago. 1 year ago, I bought my land, 1 acre land, and the guy who sold the land to me sold it for $27,000. Of course, I don't have $27,000 lying around in the banks or somewhere. No, I don't. So I negotiated with him a term that is acceptable to both of us. And we came up with this term where I would pay him monthly, and then he put an interest rate of 7%. Well, many of you would think that 7% is too high, right? But I always think that these interest rates are really just some numbers. You can literally destroy that number, and here's how. On my contract, there's a stipulation that says there's no penalty for paying off, this land sooner. So that's the trick right there, because if you pay off the land sooner, the interest that you pay on the land will be way less. So now it's up to you, how low can you go, or can you afford, right? Basically, don't overdo it, but yeah. So we did that. I put down I put down a very minimal down payment. You may put down what, $5,000 on your truck, on your Toyota Tundra. I put down $2,500 on a 1 acre land in Paradise. That's how cheap it is, and that's how affordable for us Micronesians is to put down a down payment of $2,500. Okay. Now what's left that I'm going to finance, and well, the owner, it's an owner finance. So now I'm paying monthly of $369. That's why I said if you own a Toyota Tundra, you can afford it. And that is the reason why. I'm paying $369 for my 1 acre property that I'm going to farm it. I already planted 3 breadfruit trees, and then our relatives planted taros and tapioca and bananas and sakao and all sorts of stuff. And so it is very affordable. I'm paying $369 a month. You're paying $750 for your Toyota Tundra, or even more. And I already pay extras, right? So I already pay $1,500 here, $1,500 there. Whenever I found it in my budget, I throw at it. And so you're just increasing your equity. Yeah. And so I think the video is kind of long now, but it's those things that I want to share with you, that you can literally buy a land today. Do not wait. Waiting will cost you. So buy today, because you can afford a land. Especially here in Puna district. Or no, I'm in Hilo, so it's Puna district. Up or down south a little bit. Anyways, so please, if you like the topic that I was talking about, how affordable lands are here, and how Micronesians we can buy land. So I still have my house in Washington State, and now we We have this land here for a year, and we're now starting to do something on it, starting with clearing it and planting it and all that stuff, right? And then comes the building of the house and then all that stuff. But for now, we're gonna, make use of the land by, farming it with all sorts of things. Or yeah. And so if you like all these things, please like my videos. I will post more and share with you, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two, and hopefully it'll inspire you at least to look into these things. I've planned since I bought my house in Washington State to buy a land here. That was 2015, and yeah, so I was dreaming, I was hoping, I was doing all kinds of research just to buy a land here, and I missed out. I missed a lot of opportunity because in 2015 it was very cheap. Yeah, way cheaper than it is today. See, I waited. There were things that were in the way here and they're in the way there. I never gave up. All you do is just going around the pumps, right? But I still reached the same goal. Still buy the land. It took me forever. I think some people would like, oh my gosh, he kept on talking about moving to Hawaii. He never moved to Hawaii. Yeah. It's because you have to, there's many kinds of challenges. And, you just have to be patient, and you have to be flexible. Yeah. If one way doesn't work, go the other way. As long as you get to your destination. Yeah. You can be out there in the vast Pacific Ocean. But if you've never give up and you're still trying to go, if the current are blowing this way and the wind is blowing you that way, and you never give up, you're still aiming for the land, and you will eventually arrive. The wind will calm down, the rain will stop, and you'll arrive at your destination. All right? So never give up. Be flexible. Be patient. Are the keys here. And know that you are a Micronesian, and Micronesians can afford to leave off the land. And so here we are. Alright, so I just want you to click that like button and also subscribe, and then join me in the future episodes of my videos. Thank you, and sayonara.